So what we're talking about, obviously, I'll just continue on a little bit about the memorable meeting that took place here, right in front of the Columbia Gym between Joe Martin and young Cassius Clay. And it's funny how things work out in life. You never know what's going to happen, but clearly that meeting ended up changing the world in a lot of different ways. Now, when Muhammad passed away not that long ago and came home to rest, obviously we knew how much he meant to us, and we thought he meant a lot to the world, but boy, did we see how much he meant to the world and how many lives he touched and how many people he inspired with his example. So all that started right here. And we've got some kids here from Iraq that are visiting the city right now, so welcome to you guys, and it's amazing to see that you're at a super historical place. And it started with a bicycle and an act of compassion. The truth is that compassionate conversations like the one happened between Officer Martin and the young Cassius Clay, these happen all the time between our LMPD officers and our citizens today. And a lot of them don't make headlines, like the one that didn't make headlines with Joe Martin and Cassius Clay either, but you never know how it's going to turn out. And in traveling throughout our city, especially here in the last month in the post-Baton Rouge and St. Paul and Dallas time periods, I've seen a great deal of mutual respect and affection between police officers and citizens in our community. And I've seen people reject the false choice that you can either support communities of color or you can support the police. People say that is not the way it is. We're going to support everybody here in our community. Now, I also see people be very clear-eyed to say we have challenges. We know that. We can be more effective in terms of how we all work together and how we listen to each other, but that's part of how we grow as a society. So I'm proud of our community when we do that. And we do that by treating each other with respect and dignity and compassion in all of our interactions, and that's how we build on the legacy of the greatest, Muhammad Ali, the Louisville Lip, as I like to say, and certainly the legacy of a great police officer in Joe Martin as well. So that's why we're here. Now, one of the ways we're going to be doing that legacy building work is by working with the folks at the Schwinn Bicycle Company, who I really want to say thank you to. Schwinn has stepped up as a corporation and donated 100 bicycles to Louisville kids who need a new bike. I mean, Schwinn obviously didn't need to do that, but they saw the power of the simple gesture between Muhammad and Joe Martin, and they said, well, let's do 100 examples of this as well. So we'll be distributing the bikes along with helmets and bike locks to 100 kids who have successfully completed Bike Louisville's Bike Sense program. These courses have been given at our community centers, so the initial focus will be on our young citizens who completed the Bike Sense program at the Southwick Community Center. And this program teaches kids in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades how to ride and how to ride safely as well. I want to thank Eddie Reynolds from the Brain Injury Alliance of Kentucky for all the work they do with us in making sure people are biking safely with their helmets adjusted properly, and no doubt Eddie will be at the event coming up here in September as well. Is Eddie in the house with us? Thank you, buddy. You've helped us a lot as a community. Now, those selected for the free bikes will get them at a street festival. We're planning September 17th at the Muhammad Ali Childhood Home Museum. I should say the Muhammad and Rahman Ali Childhood Home Museum at 3302 Grand Avenue. In honor of the relationship between Ali and Joe Martin, we'll have LMPD officers there to present each boy and girl with their new bike, helmet, and lock, so recreating that type of activity we had before. We have Pam Williams here from the Ali Childhood Home, and Aaron Herbert, the Director of Programming for the Ali Center. So thanks to you all as well. I see you back here. Thank you. And there's going to be more festivals or more details on the festival soon, but it will also include entertainment. KFC is providing with the food. The program will begin at 10 a.m. and that's the morning of the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Awards, which will be that night at the Marriott, again, September the 17th. So we're very excited about all this, and making the announcement here at Spalding certainly brings our city values of lifelong learning and health and compassion together as well. Spalding has always been and continues to be just a great partner in our community in so many different ways. Now, I want to thank one other person here. I want to thank incoming Councilman Brandon Cohn for championing this effort. Brandon and I have known each other for quite some time, and if you know Brandon, you know he is a very creative individual. So he saw all this beautiful celebration during the Ali Week in our community, and he just had the idea, maybe I'll call the Schwinn Bicycle Company and ask if they would like to support and carry on the work of Muhammad Ali. So he called, and they probably said, who is this guy? Why is he calling? But they said, yeah, we would love to help the community, and we would love to help some young kids get their first bike as well. So Brandon showed great leadership by this event happening here today and on September 17th as well. So I want a special thank you to Brandon and look forward to working with him on the Metro Council. Good job. A few other thank yous before our other speakers. I also want to thank Ben Johnson for his help in making this happen. Ben, are you in the house right here? Ben is the Assistant Director for Recreation with Metro Parks, so thank you for this. He does all kinds of good work for the community. I want to thank Casey Mathis and everyone at KFC for supplying food for the festival. Casey, where are you? She's cooking for the event, apparently. And also, again, a big-time thank you to the folks at Schwinn. Corporate representatives from them will be here on September 17th. Now, it's one thing to get the bikes, you got to put the bikes together. So Clarksville Schwinn and Bob Peters and his team is assembling them. So Bob, thank you for all the good work that you're doing as well. All right, so this obviously donation aligns with our efforts to promote biking in the community as a great activity. Obviously, biking is good for you, it promotes health, and when we bike instead of drive, it also helps the air in our community, and it keeps us all healthier as well. That's why we're going to continue to expand our cycling programs in the community. We're now known all over the world as a great cycling community. We do that through expanding our bike lanes, working with our parks as well, putting bike racks on our buses, our new electric TARC buses as well, adding to the Louisville Loop, and many other efforts to promote biking. So I'm going to turn things over now to a man who can tell us more about the details on the Bike Sense program and all things biking in Louisville. So please welcome Rolf Eisinger from Bike Louisville. Rolf?
Good morning. Yeah, my name is Rolf Eisinger. I run the city's bicycle and pedestrian program, and just here to tell you all a little bit about the Bike Sense program. It's a 5-day on-bike curriculum where we teach 3rd through 5th graders everything about how to put a helmet on, dressing for safety, learning how to ride. Many of our youth don't know how to ride bikes. And we also teach them about how to negotiate a 4-way intersection, which sometimes adults have a hard time figuring out. So anyways, through a 5-day on-bike curriculum, we're able to teach hundreds of community center youth who participate in the summer camp at the community centers. And like I said, this summer we've reached hundreds of kids, and then in the school year we go into the JCPS community schools. So if you have any other questions, you can ask me later.
All right. Thank you, Rolf. If you all remember when during the week of the Ali Memorial, we had hundreds, we had 2,000 press credentials released, and so probably half of you all were interviewed by the media themselves about your own Ali experience, but we had a real special lady surface during that week, and that's Jolie Berge. And Jolie is the granddaughter of Joe Martin, and people have been so fascinated by this story, so it was wonderful to hear her account of growing up with her granddad and how that impacted her as a young person. So Jolie, if you would share your thoughts with us. Thank you.
Well, if there's one thing I can say for certain, the outpour of interest and recognition in the everyday simple actions that my granddad, I should say, as I like to call him, portrayed on a daily basis is just amazing. Over the last 2 months, since Muhammad Ali's death, I've had the opportunity to really reflect upon what he stood for and the difference that he made. And if there's two things that I have top of mind are the fact that he believed in community involvement and support, and that he also believed in investing in the future of our youth. And I really feel that that's what we see continue to happen here in the city of Louisville. And so I know that today he is shining down on just one more example of the things that we see here within the city of Louisville and all the good that we're doing. So I just want to thank everyone who has put their time and effort into this event, and I'm sure many more to come. Myself, and my family, my husband Daniel, my son Braxton, daughter Hampton, our hearts continue to swell with pride in the fact that the simple action that my granddad, Joe Martin, took that one day with the young Cassius Clay will continue to forever live on in history. So thank you very much.
Well, I think the question for all of us is, what's that one act of compassion and kindness that we can do every day? We're all presented with these opportunities every day, and what do? Do you turn and walk away, or do you lean into it and see how you can help? And I think this is a powerful example for us of how a kind-hearted man and a curious young boy that wanted to whoop somebody came together and really did so many positive things for inspiring this world. I'd like to thank Phil Russell as well. Phil, would you like to share a few words with us here today? Phil's representing LMPD and does a great job every day.
Thank
Phil.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. The legacy of Officer Joe Martin is something that I think that we can all hold on to, particularly in this day and age. And I love what the mayor said recently, that the side that we choose is peace. And I think that in this city, we want our city to stand out among all cities across the world. And the legacy of Muhammad Ali, he was known throughout the world, and we're hoping that the city of Louisville can be that light, that shining example in this time, which is much needed in a time of peace. So thank you.
Beautiful. All right. Any questions about this event? All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming this morning, and we'll see you on September the 17th. Good job.
This has been a Metro TV production, a public service of Louisville Metro government.